All right. Anyway, happy Monday again. But anyway, it was just so, it was exactly like what I needed, you know. I wanted to bail like so bad, and it was everything I needed. And I didn't quite realize like how badly I needed to be there until like the first night I got kind of paired up with these women that weren't my vibe. They were like older, and they
How'd they
weren't.
pair?
Girl, this was like I got off, I rode in on from the airport with these women, and then it's sort of
Oh,
the, you get talking and like, oh, we're going to dinner here, you want to come with us? And like, okay, like here we go. and and then I did meet this one girl who actually like runs a podcast, started her own podcast. She's from Missouri area, near where Angie Lee is from. She was super sweet. Her and I actually sat next to each other, and we both were like, both like could like reading each other. Like she and I both were like, I want to be out of here right now. Like we both wanted to like bolt, but more because like we just, the energy, like I don't know, I just, it's actually pretty perfect that I'm talking about this now because of what we're going to talk about tonight. But like just knew, like I knew I was meant to be there. All day long I was getting signs that I was meant to be there. Like I was seeing numbers, like I was seeing things to, like, you know, talking to you in the morning, like I knew I was meant to be there. But then like that dinner, it like tripped me up. It gave me, that's why I think I woke up with so much anxiety. I talked to you Saturday morning. I woke up with so much anxiety Saturday morning because I thought, what the fuck, like, you know, if like, I don't know, did I make a mistake? Did I, you know, did I come, was this not what I, should I not have come? And I just like, you know, I went back to what I know. I went back to focusing back on just like literally trusting in the universe. Like I think my biggest regret over the last 2 years of growing this business is trying to control so much, and trying to control the outcomes, and trying to control how things are going to happen and when they're going to happen, instead of just feeling good in my business and feeling good and celebrating the things that are going right, and really truly believing that everything is meant to work out in our favor. Like everything really is meant to work out for you. Like we are the ones that get in the way. All right. And so as soon as I accepted that, as soon as I really started to like lean into that, the better everything went. And the more I relaxed, and the more I relaxed, like the more I received from like the speakers and everything. And the more like started to really understand like why I was there. And I was able to like, and now I'm just so grateful that I went. And it just proves to me again and once again, like the thing that scares you, the thing that you feel like, the thing that you want to run away from is the thing that you need to run towards, you know. And you need to invest in yourself. You have to gamble on you. Like you have to, you know, every like that thing, you know, you know, like you don't feel like you're quite making enough to like, you know, invest in some social, or, you know, I don't know, I'm talking about random things right now, but like it's true, because they talked a lot about money this weekend. And I promise I won't talk much longer about this, but I just
no.
wanted to talk about it. And you have to invest in your business as a business owner, as is, you know, it's necessary in every stage of your business. You're gonna have to like, you know, step out of your comfort zone in that sense, and like know when to invest. Like if so for me, I think about it like the thing that was causing me the most stress in my business, like back when I was working full time and everything, was like growing my following. So that was the thing that here, take care of that for me, you know, like so I can focus my energy here. You know, you have to go where the energy feels good, you know. And I'm not saying like you can't, you know, I'm not saying like don't do the things because you know, don't invite because it doesn't feel good, but like invite in a way that makes you feel good. And like do it at the time of day that you know that you're at the best, you know, you're in the best energy state for yourself. Like don't self-sabotage you, you know, if you know that you're not going to be you're going to be stressed out, like life's going to get in the way. And at the end of the day, you're going to be too tired. You're not going to want to do that. Like, don't, or if as soon as you open up social media, like you might get stimulated by like what other people are doing. If comparison is one of your traps, well, then like you need to get in there and get your invites done like ASAP before you let your mind like sabotage you, like after you've done your morning routine. You know what I mean? Like when you're feeling good and you're like really open and receptive and you're in a state of love, for yourself, and you're open for others. So like, and then, one of the things I've been resisting the last few months is like, I'm scared to invest again. Like, I'm scared to invest in myself. Like, I'm scared to invest in my business because I don't feel like I'm making enough. Like, I don't feel like I'm in a mindset of lack. Like, I'm lacking, so I don't want to give out, which basically is blocking me off from success. It's like, boom. So the thing I invested in this weekend was with one of the speakers, Allison Bird, who's like Oprah for money. Like, she's insane. She's amazing. And because that is my biggest fear. My parents have never made anywhere close to six figures. And like, that's not a reality for me. It never has been in my life. Like, money's always been scarce and like, just not. And so now, not only am I like, no one's a business or an entrepreneur in my family. Like, now I'm not only just doing that, but I want money, like I want the lifestyle. I want the ability to make that abundance. And like, I don't know it. Like, I energetically can't receive it because it's fear. It's my ego. Like I'm blocking it off. So, I signed up for one of her trainings, like, did I necessarily have all the money, you guys, to pay for that training? No. Like, did I have the money to reschedule my flight that I fucked up and reschedule like a $200 fee to change my flight last night? No. Like, did I need to spend the money I spent to go to this? No. Like, there's so many reasons why I could have not gone to this, but I did, and I knew it. It's been eating at me all year long. I knew I needed, if I wanted to up level in my business, if I wanted to up level as a leader, I needed to invest in myself. I needed to go get outside my comfort zone and put myself in a room with other women that I know, like, I need to learn from and I know, like, are going to help me be better. So yeah, it's just been a lot. And I'm still like, I took so many notes and I'm still processing it all. And like, all I can say is just keep staying open. Like, just keep betting on yourself. Like, every single woman in that room, like, some of them, you guys, were people that still, they don't even know what it is that they wanted to do yet. They just are in their job and they feel so stuck. They just know they're meant for something more. Some of them were married and had kids, and like, some of them were just there. Like, some of them, the youngest girl in the room was 18, moved to San Diego, like, not going to college. Like, she knew she was meant to like just be a life coach to like teens and stuff. Like, she didn't even know like why she necessarily was supposed to be in the room, and she was there. Like, she bought her ticket and went there. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a mistake. It's not like the urge, the feeling inside you is not a mistake. Like, and one of the number one things that she talked about is our why. And this is what I really, really wanted to share with you guys, is like the concept of our why. It's, like, it really is like, of course I want to do this. Like, one of the reasons I wanted to coach was because I wanted to make enough money to get myself out of debt. I want all these things for my family. I want these things for Nate and me and all that stuff. But what it really is it's a pull. It's a pull that's always been there. It's a pull that's always been there that I know I'm meant for something. I just don't know what it is. And here I have gone in my life and like, boom, 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 went to college here, didn't work out, boom, 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 redirect, pivot as I'm like trying to just like kind of find my own way. But yet, we get pulled in all these different directions because life happens or expectations and, all this stuff. but like the pull was there before we were even born. And I know that sounds really woo woo, but it's true. Like our purpose was already decided before we were even here. And you know what it got me thinking about, because this Allison Bird talked about it, like her father was like in prison. Like her mom was a single mom, and her father, like she never knew her father because her father was in prison her whole life. Like she has like one memory of meeting him in prison and stuff like that. And like if you looked at where she came from, like she had no business like trying to, be successful or be a multimillionaire. You know what I mean? Like she had no reason. That's what I was talking about, the 85 to 15% rule. Like we have control of the 85%, but it's all in our mindset. It's all in our like belief of what we want to, like, why is Oprah? Because she took control over 85%, like 15% is like our natural skill set, but like 85% is what we choose to do, like what action we choose to take. And like, so what she was saying, like, it made me think about the fact that like my whole life I've always felt this connection, like, with my grandmother, and particularly because my grandma used to tell me how my great grandma died, like the anniversary, like her death was my birthday. Like, and all growing up, all I heard from my grandma and my aunts was like what a saint my grandma was, like my great grandma, and like what an amazing woman she was, and all these things. And like, it was just one of those things that made me feel warm and fuzzy, and like, and, like I mattered then, and then I just kind of, like, life happens and you just kind of forget about it. But like, why did I feel this pull so much all the time to just make people feel good and to help other people and all this stuff? It's like, because I truly believe like I was made, like I'm not a mistake, like none of you are a mistake. And I just want to share that with you, because I think we get so caught up in like the logistics of it all, instead of really like that's, truly at my core, I know I could never quit, because I know like it's not Beachbody. Like it's not just it's not about Beachbody. Like this is the platform for us to be who we want to be, and like to help who we want to help, and like maybe go on and do something even more incredible with this platform. You know what I mean? So don't, because I found myself like, there's all these Monet girls. Like that was one of the things that triggered me too, is like one of the girl at the table was a Monet girl, and oh my God, she talked about hair. Like, oh my God, like it just killed me. But at the same time, she owned it. And like, and I felt myself shrinking, because I felt like, oh, well, I don't have a business card. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. She like whipped out a business card and she had samples with her. And I'm like, you know what? I'm totally being jealous and envious right now, because you actually have like your shit together in a sense. If I should have like kind of thought a little bit ahead of time. Like I should treat myself like the CEO and business owner that I want to be. Like I should have a business card, like I've heard that from other people, but I just didn't. And like, that was one of the things I let get to me, like, because I know that's so explosive right now. And I know that that's one of the things that trips me up right now, is like seeing these girls like with this, like just like with keto and all that stuff. You just get in your head and think like, oh, well, maybe like I'm in the wrong thing, kind of a thing. No, you're not in the wrong thing, because you were drawn to this, like nothing was on accident. Like you were drawn to you're here. You're drawn to here. Like don't let other people's, they can say all they want about shampoo. Like I just don't, like I know like my core values and my like passion is around wellness. Like, and so it doesn't matter like if she's making more money than I am right now or whatever, because like they're a brand new company and all this stuff. I know long term, like I'm being true to myself, and I know that I'm going to be successful like for the long term, kind of a thing. And so it's just, you know, again, putting yourself, there was a lot of triggers for me and necessary because I just needed the universe or people to call me on my shit. And like Cassie, who spoke on our team call last week was there, and she legit called me out on at lunch. She told, you know, she's like, girl, you need to stop caring so much what people think. And like, I thought I was something I had pretty handled, you guys. Like, I thought I had pretty much, you know, I thought for the most part, I was pretty confident. I'm way more confident than I used to be. But as a business owner, like I've developed new insecurities, you know, and and she called me out on my shit. And that's true. Like, and so it's just one of those things, like, you just have to, you know, that that's going to come up, and you got to know, like, it's for a reason, and it's for a purpose, and it's for you. It's to help you grow and help you get to that next level and all these things. So anyway, I'm going to stop blabbering, but I just kind of wanted to share a little bit about that with you guys, like one-on-one, because I didn't want to like just go live in the team page and like talk about it. I wanted to really like share pertinently like what I feel really impacted me the most. And like, because you guys are the leaders of our team, you know, like you are the leaders of this team and you all are capable. And I know hindsight's 2020, and I know like that you're gonna feel struggle, and I know you're gonna feel doubt, and I know you're gonna have these thoughts come up. You're gonna have these moments where you're just like thinking like you're just not meant for this, and I just desperately need you to just push through, because if I had like given up all the times that I thought I like just so badly like just wanted to crawl in a hole and like give up because it's uncomfortable. Nobody's gonna tell you it's comfortable to grow, like nobody. And that was probably the best gift of being at that event, was being in a room of all these women that literally flat out were incredible women telling you like, is it gonna be shit? Like, yes. Are there gonna be hard times? Yes. But none of it will ever outweigh or outdo all the amazingness that is going to be your life when you get through all that shit. You know, like Lori Harder, none of her family like ever like they like exiled her for like years, and then they finally kind of came around. Like, you know, so many stories. Just like, you know, Jordan Lee Dooley was there and she spoke. The Boss Babe, CEO girl, the British girl, like was there. And, you know, you just gotta like, you can't ignore the passion. You can't ignore the hunger that you feel. And that's your why. Your why is your pull. Okay? Take all the fluffy shit of like the people in your life that you care about. That's your why. If you feel that, that's your why. You know, that's really why you're here. You know, because you wouldn't have said yes. You wouldn't have been drawn to coaching. You wouldn't have done all these things if you didn't feel that why, you know? All right. So I'm pumped because Rachael is actually someone, you know, that I remember one of the first conversations Rachael and I had before she joined was we were talking about 11/11.
I was going to share that story.
Oh, shut up. Well, anyway.
No, you.
No. So it's just funny because, like I've told you guys many times, like The Universe Has Your Back was one of the books that really helped me through that season of my business last year. And it's helped me since then. Like, you know, like I said, trying to control so much. Like I have to learn to not be in control. Maybe it's the Enneagram 3 thing. I don't even know. Maybe that's part of what it is. Like I have to release control, and diving more into my spirituality has been what's helped my business. You know, like diving more into that is what's given me more peace and joy and happiness. And like, you know, it's helping me work through these blocks that I've been having my whole life pretty much. But now, especially, it's most important that I deal with it now and quick, because it's holding me back. So I'm really excited for Rachael to share, because that's one of the things like she practices in her daily routine as well. And I think it could benefit every single one of us. And I'm just excited for her to share kind of more about like how it's impacted her already and what she does. And yeah, I'll let her take it away. So I'll shut up.
Okay, so I apologize ahead of time if I go off on a tangent. That doesn't even have to do with this topic, but I'm going to try and go in like a timeline of how I kind of got into like the whole manifestation, law of attraction, universe, all of that stuff. About 5 years ago, I don't know if any of you have read or listened to The Power. It's by Rhonda Burns, but that was the very first book I read. And if you haven't read it, it's definitely a must read or listen to. I think it's definitely on audio, but it played such a huge role in my life at that time. It totally changed my life. I was just more aware of my thoughts and how everything I was thinking was kind of manifesting into my life, and how I was kind of doing that, like anything, I don't know how to explain this, but I felt like everything that was kind of negative in my life, I was kind of actually doing that. And the more I was more positive, and the more positive thoughts I had, and I feel like you have to read the book to understand, but I was bettering my life after listening to that, because I was paying attention to all my thoughts and how powerful our thoughts really are. It is so crazy. It blows my mind how powerful our minds are. So the one thing about that is I was in such a good state for like a few months, maybe a little bit longer. And then it's easy to revert back to how you were before. If you don't constantly pay attention and practice every single day. I read the book. I was feeling good. My life was turning around in such a positive way, but then it was so great now. So I kind of slowly stopped doing all the things that I was doing to get to that positive state. So you actively have to try and work on this every day, because it's not something you can just do and your life is awesome and then you can just let go of. So I did, though, for a while, and I should read that book again. But so I had something happen last year where I went through a period where I was really, really anxious, and I don't even know what brought it on, honestly. There was nothing in particular that was going on in my life that should have caused me to have such anxiety. It was really, really bad, though. And it was making me like leave work, and I went and saw a therapist, and there's just so many things. Like, I had never felt such anxiety before, where I felt like I couldn't function. And that whole like springtime from like April to like July, I started seeing the number 1111. And I felt like I was, when you start seeing something, kind of like you see the car that you've been driving and you see it everywhere, and you're like, I feel like I'm just noticing this because I have that car now, and it's kind of in your mind. So you keep thinking you're seeing this because now you're just paying more attention to it. So that's kind of what I thought. And I was like, okay, this 1111 thing, like I'm paying more attention to it now. So I think it's just me paying attention to it. And I'm not really seeing it because of any specific reason. So there is this time in the summer in July where I pulled my phone out of my pocket for no good reason. I don't even know why. I think I was bored or something. And I looked at my phone and it was 1111. So my sister was with me, and I said, Ash, I feel like I'm going crazy, but I keep seeing this number 1111. I feel like I'm making it up in my head. I don't know. I can't tell if I'm seeing it for a reason. So in my head, like very clearly in my head, I didn't say it out loud to my sister, but I said, if I'm seeing this number for a reason, the only way I'm going to believe it is if something like crazy happens where you wake me up at 11:11 in the middle of the night, and then I'll know that this is for real, because I keep seeing it during the day, or my patients will get checked in at 11:11, or their birthday will be 11:11, or just the craziest things that was 11:11. And I was like, I don't know, is this just a coincidence? So that night, I wasn't living with Chris at the time, but me and Jordan spent the night, and we had gone to bed like 9:00. So all of a sudden I hear this like buzzing noise, but you're like half asleep. And you know, when you hear a noise that you think could be your phone. So I didn't pay attention to it. It didn't even sound like a text message. It didn't sound like a phone call. It didn't sound like any sort of alarm on my phone. But since I was half asleep, I didn't think about it. It didn't sound like Chris's phone either. So I ignored it. And what sounded like, or what felt like a couple minutes later, that same noise came back. So I was like, all right, I must have a text message or something. I'll just look at it quick. And I looked at my phone. And it was fucking 11:11. I was like freaking out, you guys. I couldn't even close my eyes for like 20 minutes. I don't even think my eyes blinked, because I was like staring at the wall, and I was just thinking, holy shit, like something like that was not anything on my phone. My phone did not have a phone call or a text message. It was definitely some sort of noise that was just in my head to wake me up at that time. And I had said earlier that day, like, wake me up at 11:11 if this is for real, if this is not a coincidence. And I still to this day get so like shooken up about that story, because it blew my mind. Like, I would never have believed it, like really 100% believed that I was seeing that number for a reason, unless something like that happened. So I didn't even tell Chris, because I thought he was going to think I was crazy. So I called my sister the next day, and I was like, Ash, when I was talking to you, I told somebody in my head to wake me up at 11:11 if it was for real. And it woke me up at 11:11. I was like freaking out. And she was like, oh, Rachel, it was probably just your subconscious mind. And I was like, Ash, what is the chance that that happens? Like, no, I don't believe that at all. So I actually, a couple of times prior to this, I went and saw, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Mama Medium on TLC. Her name's Jen. Well, they call her Mama Medium. But so she's on TV now. And I don't go see her anymore because she's so expensive. But I saw her a couple times prior to this, and I went to see her in September. So that happened to me in July. And then I went and saw her in September, and I told her this story, and I was like, is somebody trying to tell me something? Because I like I was so freaked out, and I just wanted to make sure that if this was somebody trying to tell me something, that like I wasn't on the right path, or I don't know. I just needed to know if there was some sort of message that was supposed to be coming to me. And so she's a psychic medium, and she said that it was my grandma, and my grandma had passed earlier that year. So ever since then, if I see that, because she told me that my grandma's just guiding me pretty much. So I truly believe everybody has somebody, or everybody has numbers or something, the universe trying to guide them. But I think a lot of people don't pay attention to it. So if you start seeing a number, I don't think it is on accident. I think it's like for real. You just kind of have to figure out what that number is, like what it means to you, or what, you know, it's trying to guide you to show you. I think everybody has it, but I think a lot of people just don't pay attention to it. So ever since then, anytime I see 11:11, I'm like, okay, thank you, Grandma. Because then I feel like I'm on the right path. Which I see it all the time now. And honestly, I started seeing the number 33 a lot. And I feel like, I don't know if this sounds so crazy, but because I like knew kind of deep down about the 11:11, I feel like this is true too. So I started seeing 33 a lot, and now I see 11:33 all the time, and I see 33 all the time. I don't know if there's a different meaning between the two. Either way, like I just can just feel that it's like her letting me know that everything's okay and that I'm on the right path. So I see it all the time right now during this coaching, and I just feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, even though I do get doubts a lot of days. But I try not to be low vibe too long, because our minds are so powerful. It's okay and totally human to go through sad times, hard times, or times where you're not feeling your best. But the longer you sit there, the longer it's going to manifest into your life. So you just have to try and do whatever it takes to get out of there. So I don't mind me looking down. So, okay. A story that just happened recently that I have to tell you about because I totally think it was me manifesting it. So October was not a good month for me. Honestly, I felt like very down about how SC was going, and I was just kind of felt defeated. Like I wasn't sure if it wasn't going well because I wasn't meant to do this, etc. Even though, I tried to get out of that mindset. But, so I was selling my townhouse, and a few weeks prior to me putting it up for sale, which the realtor wanted to list it at 114.9 just to make it reasonable. And I was like, okay, that's good. Like I was in my mind, I was like, that's fine. People are going to bid it up. People are going to do like a bidding war, and they're going to bid it up to 120. I don't know why in my mind I was set on 120. I told Chris a few weeks before putting it up for sale, I was like, babe, I'm going to have someone bid it up to 120, like 120,000. And I said, I'm telling you this because when it happens, then I can come back to you and say, I manifested that shit. So what happened was a girl ended up putting in an offer for 114. Well, it was less than that, but I countered, and then she ended up saying, okay, to asking price. So then, long story short, another guy ended up putting in an offer, same as her. We said no to him. So it was just the girl, and it was supposed to be her. It was like Monday, and I was still like set on it being the girl. And then Tuesday morning, I get an email saying that there was another offer put in on the house, and it was for 115. So only 100 more than her. And because it was such a close offer, and the girl already had plans on getting it, I felt, I wouldn't have felt right if I gave it to him because he offered me 100 more. So we just kind of told him, unless you're willing to go up, we're not going to do anything with your offer. So basically I didn't talk to them all day. And then around lunchtime, I talked to my realtor, and she had some bad and good news. Bad news is the girl, there was a disapproval letter that got sent through the email. So basically she just didn't want it anymore. I don't know. She got cold feet. I guess they don't have to give a reason. So I don't really know the reason, but basically she dropped out. But the awesome thing was that at the time of the second offer, the girl was still in, like game on for the girl still. And we had already told that agent that unless he was to go up, which his offer was 115, and unless he was to go up, we wouldn't even consider his offer. So this all happened like so perfectly. The timeline was amazing. So we didn't know at the time that the girl was dropping out. We talked to the agent about the second seller or the second buyer, and the second buyer came back and said he was willing to go up. What did he go up to? 120,000. What? I was freaking out. I called Chris right after, and I was like, babe, what was the number I told you I was going to get for the townhouse? And he's like 120,000. I was like, we're getting it. So I had to let go originally when I thought the girl was taking it for asking price, because I was manifesting 120,000 so much that I was just so bummed I was going to have to be okay with 114.9. So what are the freaking chances, you guys, that the girl backed out, but at the perfect time? Because if she had backed out the night before, then the guy would have been the only offer on the table. I would have had to accept 115, but it worked out perfectly. And then he went up to 120. Like, what are the chances that he went up to 120 even? The same number that I was manifesting. Why didn't he go to 117? Why didn't he go to 118? He didn't have to offer $5,000 more. I don't know. I feel like there's no way. I definitely manifested that, I feel like. And Chris, I was hoping to like make him more of a believer, because sometimes I think he gets like, he's not really, he probably thinks I'm a little bit crazy. But it's just, I just completely believe in it. So anyways, that's that story. And the things I've been doing in the morning is the affirmations, what I'm grateful for, reading my vision. So this is something that I've been trying really hard to remember to do every morning as part of my routine. I don't know who has the, what is that book? I'm like drawing a blank. Amy, you have it.
The Rise Up Planner.
Yes, the Rise Up Planner, where they have that area where you can like put in your vision for the quarter or whatever. So you write out your vision as specific as you can be. and you read that every morning. And when you write that out and when you read it every morning, try and just picture it in your head as clear as you can. Feel it, like actually feel the emotions of how you would feel in that moment. Like if it's your vision is at a specific dream home with your kids playing in the background, running around, like whatever it is, just picture yourself there and feel like being there and the emotions behind it. And the meditation, I've been trying to add meditation because I never did meditation before, but honestly, I think it's been helping me so much. So whoever hasn't tried meditation, I think it's amazing. And that one, Amy, that you showed me, the alignment one, love that.
Yeah.
So
yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
No, just one thing I heard is like, that was one of the things they talked about this weekend. Like pretty much every business owner should meditate. Like, I don't know, who said it, why, but I mean, I started meditating last year, and yeah, I think again, like, I think it's just like the vision, like the getting into the mindset, dealing with your own anxiety, like you're triggering anxiety, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you're pushing your boundaries, so you're going to trigger anxiety. So anyway.
Yeah. So a couple ways I try to get out of the funk, because we all know that in this sort of business coaching that it definitely happens sometimes once every single day. Like you have that spurt moment of just doubt, and it's hard. So what I do is I try to do something different. And Amy, I know you talked about this. So if you normally invite on Instagram by message, try something else, try audio message, try inviting on Facebook, try and just do something you haven't done before or that you haven't done in a while, because I feel like that gives you a little spark of hope almost, that maybe doing something different can change the outcome and you can get some more positive responses. So I try to do that. And then also message someone something heartfelt and solely because you want to make them feel good. Because I think that helps me so much. If I just, and I'm not doing it selfishly, if that makes sense. I'm just doing it because I want to make someone else feel good. But in return, it just makes me feel good too. And it gets me on like this high vibe. So if you know anybody who has like a similar energy as you, or somebody you really connect with. I have this one girlfriend that moved away, and we just have the same sort of energy. And sometimes I'll message her, and just then once I message her, she'll message me back, and she'll kind of lift me up. And then we both like start texting each other, and we're just like, all of a sudden we're like so high frequency, and you just like feel that for so long. So if you just know somebody you can message, or sometimes I just message my mom and I'm like, Mom, I appreciate you. And I just want you to know that, like, I'm sorry for everything I did to you when I was young, but you're amazing and I love you. And so anything like that, just try and do something that makes somebody else feel amazing. And I think in return, it makes you just feel amazing and kind of puts you up on the higher frequency. So, sorry, I'm just reading my notes really quick. Yeah, so basically feeling the energy, I kind of already talked about that, but just instead of just thinking about your goal and thinking about that thing, like, okay, I don't know, just trying to think of a goal. So like say SC10 or whatever is your goal. Instead of just trying to manifest SC10 and looking at it as a thing, try and feel those feelings that you would feel if you were SC10, like as if you're already there. So just try and feel those feelings and feel how you'd feel. I don't know. Sometimes I don't feel like I explain this very good, because I just know what I do and how I feel inside when I'm doing it. And it's kind of hard to explain it, but just feel all the feelings. Don't just think about it as like a goal, and don't just say I'm manifesting SC10 and just keep saying that to yourself. Like really feel it from your toes to the top of your head. Feel it with every ounce of energy you have. And then be specific, but don't try and manifest a million things at once, because I think that sometimes your brain can get a little bit clouded. Like try and just focus on a few things. So throughout the day, just try and think about those things and just try and, again, feel those feelings randomly throughout the day, but just pick a few things. Don't try and pick like a huge list of manifesting things, because I think it just gets cloudy. And you have to believe that you can truly accomplish these goals, because nothing's going to work if you don't really honestly believe it. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just believe that it will happen. Like with every ounce of your being, just believe that it's going to happen. So I don't know if that is helpful at all, but I wish I could like explain more how I feel inside. Like sometimes I get so high vibe that it just feels like, no, this is going to sound really bad. It doesn't feel like I'm drugged, but I feel like the energy inside me is just so overwhelming that it just feels so good. I don't know how to explain it. So I don't know if that any of that helped.
Oh my God. I love you. Oh my. So no, you're exactly right. Like you have to, and that's the hard thing, right? It's not, we focus on the outcome. We focus on the result. Like we want, okay, the house or SE10 or whatever, diamond and all this stuff. That's not what, like, that's not the energy though. The energy is the feeling. The energy is like how we feel like when we have the thing. And like, that's what is, so like same thing with money. Like, so money is an energy exchange. That's like, like when you go and you bring up the income, like, or you bring up the price for our challenge pack. If you are like, oh, I don't know, like if you're feeling real nervous to like send them that info about the cost, I don't know how it works, but it transfers. You know what I mean? Like you have to have just cool, calm, like belief, like just you are so certain that that this is worth the value that it is, that you don't question it. So therefore they don't question it, and I'm sure like we've all been there. Like I've been there. Like you feel like it's always the price. It's always when you go and you send them that price info. Well, like if that's what's happening, like check yourself. Like how do you feel when you go and tell people how much the price is? Like, do you doubt the price? Like, are you feeling like insecure about it? Like, because if yeah.
I think it's hard too, because we get so many people who say negative things about the price that after a certain, all those people saying negative things about the price, then you start to feel a little bit negative about the price. So then you're hesitant to message someone the info about the price because you've already had a gazillion people say things about the price. So you just have to really just, like you said, just feel good about everything and what you're giving them and know that it's a good value and just believe that they're going to be okay with the price.
But yeah, but then this is the other thing they brought up this weekend. Like Lori Hard was talking about this, that like if they say no, or maybe it wasn't her, if they say no, like say thank you, because that is the universe like darting that person out of, like, they might not be your person. Their universe is actually doing you a favor. I've had realizations of that sometimes, like where I feel like you kind of have this conversation with this person that like is really not like your person. They might be like way older than you, or they might just like be completely opposite from you, but like they ended up in your inbox or they're on your page, and so you reach out to them and then they ask for info and all this stuff, and it kind of flows like it's going in the right direction. But then like all of a sudden either they ghost you or like they say no or something like that. And you're kind of, those are probably like the people like, oh, well, this girl said she was going to sign up or all this stuff. Like I've had a few of those like in the last couple months. And like, then I realized, like, would I really be happy if that girl was on my team? Like, would I though? Like, was she really like my vibe? Like, did we really like connect truly? Because like, you got to think about stuff like that. Like if she's going to flake on you, then she's probably going to flake on you in your challenge group. She's probably going to flake on you when you try and message her to check in on her. Like, you don't want that. It might not be her time, it's not necessarily maybe like every single one of you pretty much, like Rachel, you didn't say yes right away, but like, it's like, so pretty much everyone, like, so everyone. And it's like, but you have to understand, like, it's just, it's a blessing in disguise for whatever reason. We don't know the reason yet. Like, we don't know if maybe it's like that person really just isn't ready yet, but they're gonna be. And we just need to like accept that and be okay with it. But like, that's not our job. Our job's not to determine the outcome. Our job's not to, and like I truly feel like my business thrives when I'm just detached from the outcome. And I'm just focused on like, well, I feel good, so I'm going to go out there and I'm just going to like share this. And like, and like you said, Rachel, like, you just have to you have to learn, like, develop your own toolbox of things that you do to get yourself to that high vibe state. Like Rachel talked about calling a friend or texting someone that she knows, like, makes her automatically feel good. Sometimes for me, like, so I just shared in our diamond page, like, so I've heard Gabrielle Bernstein talking a lot about how all these concepts, like her Super Attractor book, all those concepts came from Abraham Hicks. Like, it's all related back to Abraham Hicks. So I'm like, well, who the hell is Abraham Hicks? So then I YouTubed it, like I Googled it. And it's like, it's like these two people that talk about, like, do TED Talks all the time about like spirit, the universe, and like energy. So I've literally all weekend long, like, been listening to it ever since I discovered what it was. And like, I realized, like, oh my God, because she literally coaches, like, there's YouTube videos galore, like any kind of thing you're struggling with, she coaches people through these thoughts of like and relating it back to like what, like how they're blocking the universe, like they're like, and it's all energy. And like, same thing, that's this, I think it's why I was so open and ready to, like, why I believed so much about what Allison said about money and like what other the speakers were saying about money, because like, yes, like, I'm not on the right wavelength to receive money. Like, I'm not, like, I'm not open to it. Like, but I can be, like, I'm like, and it was like, oh my God, boom. Like, if I want this, then I can have it, but I have to like do the work to be ready to receive it. You know what I mean? So it's like, everything you want, it's like, all right, the universe wants to help you get there, but you have to be, like, what'd she say? You have to be something in order to receive. Like, it's two things. Like, you can't receive unless you are open. There's a word she uses that I just heard it this morning and now I can't think of it. But like, basically, like, if you're trying to control, if you're overthinking it and not just feeling, she's like, and it's almost like, don't shame yourself for, like Rachel said, like, don't shame yourself for feeling like in a funk or feeling down. Like, there's a wavelength. Like, it's better to be like, I think, worried than anxious. Like, there's like steps, right? Like, everything's a little bit better than the thing before or after, like, whatever. Like, obviously, like, being joyful and like having fun is the best frequency ever. Like, that's the highest frequency. But then, just being like, I can't even think of words right now, but like, there's like variation. So like, it's just taking a step in the right direction. Like, whenever you're feeling like stuck, like, go for a walk, change your state, do some, like, we did breath work this weekend, like breathing, meditation, like doing things that literally like breathing, like breath work is literally like, can give you the same sensation as like being on drugs. Like, I felt that. Like, I've never like legitimately like successfully been high in my entire life because I usually pass out. But I like, it's true. Like, she like, wow, she uses it, like, Samantha Skelly is her name. She uses it to help people like with eating disorders and like that are, suffer with depression and like have addictions and things like that, because like, we all are just trying, like, think all these people out there, you guys, the people we're trying to help are feeling these feelings and they're trying to overcompensate with food or Hulu or Netflix or drinking or, you know, working too much, all this stuff, because they don't know how to deal with their feelings. You know, they are so stuck in like, you know, just themselves that they don't know like what to do to be happier. So we cover it up, you know? So like, just like, if anything can make you happy, anything that makes me feel full of gratitude is understanding like I'm the lucky one. Like we are the lucky ones, you know? Like we've had the revelation already. Like we already know we want to get better. We know we can get better. Like, so we're the lucky ones. Like gratitude automatically. Like we're in control. Like, you know? And we're 2 steps ahead. You only need to be 2 steps ahead of the person you're trying to help. You know? So just a little tidbit, like when you guys are trying to help people, like you're in, you know, reaching out to people and letting them know, like, understand, like, yes, you can do what I do too. You only need to be like 2 steps ahead of the person that you're trying to help, and you already are, because you're here. Like you're already 2 steps ahead because you're here. You already said yes. You're bettering yourself. You already took the steps. You know, you're already on the path. So yes, you can do this. So I think like the best thing that I can like suggest or like take away from like what you said is like literally just like the power of a daily routine, you know, like you first and mean it, you know, like you and your mindset are number one. And like that's why, and like I wasn't doing that for a while, you guys. I got away from it, and that's why I think I got lost. You know, I had to recommit to getting up at 5 a.m. again, because if I don't wake up at 5 a.m., then that whole process is rushed for me, because my business hours are like 8 to 12, you know, like that's when I'm like, you know, shit's happening, life's happening, you know. Again, it doesn't matter if you're doing this full time. It doesn't matter if you have a physical job that you're still going to right now. Life's going to happen and it's going to interrupt. So you have to be able to prioritize giving yourself that time to be quiet and to like give yourself a 5-minute meditation, you know, have the time to read your vision and not feel rushed, and read like your clarity statements, and like, you know, and do those invites in a calm state, you know, in a good state. So that way, like, you know, you're not sabotaging yourself. And then when like things come up, you know, like your frogs are already done, like you've already filled up your cup, but now you kind of know like what makes me feel really good. And like you can start to do those things and like know those things and come back to those things, you know, whether it's, you know, whether it's movement or like for me, I think sometimes like what I don't do enough is I don't like, one of the things I did, like I keep talking about Allison, but a dance party every single day. Like everybody should do a dance party every single day. Like you just should. But you know, like be stupid silly. Like just be silly. Have fun. Like whatever you can do to have like get yourself to a good state of like feeling in inhibition. Like whatever. You know, like that's what you need to do, because that's where your highest frequency is. And that's when like you're just, I don't know, you're just going to attract more of what you want. But like truly, like I think my best days and my not so best days come down to whether or not I was half-assing my visualization and my meditation, all that stuff, or whether I really felt it. And like I know when I'm not, you know, you feel it. And then it's reflected in your business and it's reflected in your day. So the best thing that you can do too is, like I said, don't beat yourself up. Just say like, I forgive myself. Like I forgive myself for being anxious today. I forgive myself for being anxious for the last hour or whatever. Or, you know, I choose differently. Like, let's go do something good. Like that's something that I do all the time to myself, is like, I just say like, or I say, I release this. Like I release this feeling. Like I choose differently. I forgive myself. And Abraham Hicks says, she's like, you can just tell yourself over and over, like, all's good. Like, everything's good. Like, everything's working out for me. Like, the universe has my back. Like, you know, you just kind of say these things like, no, you're good. Everything's good. Like I'm doing great. Like, she just kind of, I don't know, like, say all the things because it's true. The only one like stopping it is you, you know, like we are the ones stopping it. And today was a perfect example because I've had share carts out for 4 days. Nobody's pressed submit. And then today, when I literally, like, I did my invites in the morning, I did my follow-ups, but like I like stopped worrying, thinking about it. Like, I stopped thinking about work. Like, you know, I stopped thinking about that part of my business. Like, I let it go, you know? And then I started like receiving like messages, like, you know, and that's when people, and then I got a message out of nowhere. Okay, I'm doing it tonight. I'm doing it right now. Like, I'm completing it right now. And it's like, damn, if that's not proof, you know, like, you know, when you like get yourself to a good state, like it's gonna happen. So I know that was like kind of long ramble and very woo woo, but like, you guys gotta know by this point, like, I'm kind of woo woo, and I feel like you gotta follow what helps you. Like, you do, you gotta lean into whatever helps you, because it's your number one job is you, and you are your success, you know. And like, this is a daily practice, and so it's good that you're learning it now. Like, you're realizing your triggers now and what's coming up for you now, because then you can start to like figure out what tools in your toolbox you need to like overcome that. And then it's just going to grow and evolve, you know. Who knows, in 6 months from now you could be freaking like a huge, like, massive meditator. Like, I don't know, like someone, like, I personally am not able to like sit that long at this point. Like, I still can't, like I still have a hard time like completely shutting my brain off like for that long. You know, it's just led me to so many different things, and it's just opened me up, and like, you know, and just helped me discover things about myself that I didn't know were there, and I didn't know, like, I loved it. Like, I loved that so much. So it's just very interesting, but it's super helpful. And I know you think it's easy to think like they're not connected, but they're completely connected. Like, your mindset is literally everything. And if you can just like get in this practice of pouring into that every day, and stop resisting it, like, I feel like it's going to help you so much. So does anybody have any questions? I know that was very...
I just have to say that I completely agree with when you just kind of detach yourself, because in August, that's when I hit SC12, and I was totally detached from whatever answers people gave me or whether they really signed up. It's not that I didn't care. I just didn't think about it. And then October, thought about it every single day, got upset and worked up about it every single day. And that month I totally struggled. And I know a lot of people struggle in October, but my mindset was also not good. And I was just too attached. It just didn't benefit me at all. So completely agree with you on just detaching, letting it go, releasing it. And then that's when it seems to happen. So you just gotta be okay with letting it go.
Yeah, like, you can't explain it. There's no explaining.
Yeah.
And you know, but then you just realize, oh my God, what's the difference? Oh, I just like didn't care. And, you know, you're right. It's not that you did, like, you know, like you said, you set the intention, but don't figure out the how. Just like set the intention, and like have it there. Like, you're gonna see it if it's in your planner and your eyes a planner. You're gonna see SC10 as your goal and stuff like that. You're gonna see diamond as your goal. Like, you're gonna give yourself these triggers and reminders, but like, you don't need to obsess about it. And I'm totally guilty of that. I'm not saying that to you, like, you know, I'm telling you this because this is what I do. And this is what my problem is. And like, this is why I wanted her to share this with you guys tonight, because I just feel like it's been so true for me. And now perfect example is October, and I just don't, like, we have to get faster, better at recognizing the pattern. You know what I mean? You gotta get better. It's all just about becoming more intuitive about what's happening with you and getting better at changing, like, you know, doing something differently, like acting differently. And that's really all it is, you know, like, give yourself permission to not be perfect, but also like understand, like, you are in complete power, like you have all the power. You just have to like harness it, you know. And you can change that in an instant. You can like change your energy in an instant and things could be completely different. Like, obviously that's true, because how else would we still, like, you know, hit SC10 or whatever? Like, because I still, as much as I kept struggling, I kept still trying to redirect myself, you know. But I know I can do better. And like, I know, like, I just have to like really like pay attention to the blocks. Like, I have to pay attention to the things that are coming up, so that way I can really just be like, okay, yeah, so anyway, all right, I'll stop blabbering. Thank you, Rachel. Are you still there?
Welcome. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay. No, you're fine. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging in there. And this really got me fired up, and I'm just really excited. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.